Hey, it's Rachel from the Life Facilitator, and I am doing a journal with me video today. I am using Heidi Swapp storyline chapters inserts for faith journaling and sort of a faith commonplace book, I guess you could call it. And I was showing you earlier that I trimmed down the inserts just a little bit so that they are squared off instead of rounded corner, and they fit in that freckled fawn traveler's notebook better with the corners trimmed off. So you can barely tell. I should probably have done a comparison with a non-trimmed down insert. But anyway, moving on. So for this insert, I do a daily scripture writing and then notes about the scripture that I read, and this format, this weekly format, works out really nicely for what I'm using this for. And so I like to do a little bit of decorating just to make the page pretty, and then do my writing around it. I am using the Cocoa Daisy Denim and Blush kits for my decoration. And I'm going to first date this particular week. I am going to end up decorating 2 weeks. Just because I was kind of on a roll. But more often than not, I'm only decorating 1 week at a time. Although, if I was smart, I would decorate many weeks at a time so that I could just sit down and do my quiet time and not have to worry about. I mean, I don't have to worry about decorating. I'm not worried about it. But, if I wanted to. Anyways, that's a ramble. What I was going to say was that this process is not that unsimilar to a just regular plan with me. So putting down a little bit of decoration and then writing your plans in around those decorations. So this could also work for a daily journal as well. And so I am doing some masking and then stamping this leaf print. I'm stamping off onto that sticky note first because I don't want, this is a pretty saturated ink, and so you'll see here that, well, you can't see, but I can see that it bleeds through just a little bit on the other side. And so by stamping it off first, I get a nice amount of ink where it still looks pretty, but it's not like overly saturated. So these stamps are from the memory keeping kits, both the modern memory keeping kit and the traveler's notebook memory keeping kits. Really, really liked these stamps this month. I've been really, really into stamping I'm always into stamping, but I've been really doing more stamping than normal, and so this has been really fun to use this stamp set. It's so crazy versatile. But anyway, I also really wanted to challenge myself to use some of the pocket cards in this spread, and so what I'm looking for are either patterns that I really like or sentiments that would make sense for a faith journaling layout. And I found quite a few that would work for this purpose. So just going through the pocket cards and kind of picking some that I think I'll use and then sort of putting the other ones aside. There's so many pocket cards, and so many of them can be used, and I definitely used quite a few of them in these two layouts. So I'm going to make a little flip, a little tip-in for this card, and I'll use the washi from the Traveler's Notebook Memory Keeping Kit, I believe. Maybe. To tip in the pocket card. The only reason I did this was because I liked both sides of the card, and so I wanted both sides to show, and so this is a good way to do that. I'm so weird about scrap washi. I can't just throw it out. I'm no, it needs a spot on the page. So strange. I've trimmed this pocket card in half and will use it for a journaling spot on two different parts, two different areas of the page. And I am not staying 100% inside the weekly boxes, and that's fine for me. I have I'm like 5 for 7 when it comes to actually doing this every day. So, if I like cover one day, I think it's probably fine. I mean, Oh yeah. So then I added a little bit of that thin washi up along. I just felt like that rose gold chevron washi was a bit intense, and so I wanted to tone it down with that blue washi. I will use a label to act as like a tab for this little flip, and I'm stapling it with the Heidi Swapp tiny stapler. And then so that the staples don't show on the back, I will put another label on the back. I'm going to flatten the staples first and then add the label on the back. I'm sure I sound like a broken record if you've listened to any of my other videos, but I still am just thoroughly enjoying the fact that all of the die cuts in the Cocoa Daisy kits are adhesive backed, so I'm not struggling to adhere these die cuts down, which is super, super nice. I did just redo my nails, and so I was a little it took me maybe ever so slightly longer to get the adhesive backing off, but I mean, not obviously it wasn't noticeable. So I have trimmed down another pocket card, and I will mat it with the actual Denim and Blush description card because I really loved the little floral on it. This is like a majority of where my die cuts and scrap paper live. I have quite a few of these little trays that are from Target, and they're in like the kitchen section, I believe. No, the bathroom section. And so I tend to kind of put all of my little embellishments and then scrap pieces in those little containers. Otherwise, they would literally just end up everywhere. I don't love the color for this week on that's across the top. It's not a bad color. It just doesn't, and it doesn't. It's not a terrible match. It just isn't like what I'm looking for, and so I'm going to cover it with some of the paper from the Traveler's Notebook Memory Keeping Kit. I keep measuring to see if I get it right, and ultimately I get it pretty close. And this was a trick that actually Heidi Swapp did in one of her Stop the Blur classes, and I thought it was really clever, and I wanted to do it myself. If you are not, if you like, well, let me back up. If you like getting ideas every month for memory keeping, and ideas like for different ways to memory keep, different like tips and tricks and all that kind of stuff, and or you just really like Heidi Swapp and want to watch her memory plan, which is super fun as well, I would super encourage her Stop the Blur class. It's so lovely. I've gotten so many ideas from the class, and you don't have to have her planner to enjoy the class. And in fact, a lot of times the ideas that I get from the class I use with my Cocoa Daisy planner and then with other product, like my Denim and Blush kit or whatever. So she just has some really great ideas. So I highly encourage, if you are not signed up for that class, to do so. It's really fun. Again, did another chop of a pocket card and cut it in half to add 2 spaces for to write out the scripture for the day, whatever it is. Oh, I use the YouVersion app for this for my like daily scripture writing. And yeah, in case you were wondering. Doing a little ripping of this pocket card so that it has kind of like a more distressed look, and I'll fiddle with it a little bit and then finally commit. Just stick it right next to it. It's not a big deal. Yeah, there we go. I liked that card. No beauty shines brighter than a good heart. That's a good little card, isn't it? Okay, next up I'm going to do some punching. I'm going to circle punch. I got 2 cards in my Denim and Blush kit. Why was that? Because my kits came separately. And so I am going to take advantage of the double fun of the pocket cards and punch a couple different size circles. And I think circles are just such a nice element to a page, especially if you're trying to get 3 different shapes. So like a square shape, a circle, and then maybe like a label, which is kind of, well, it's a rectangle, but anyway. So I like having circles as another option for like design on a page. And gonna play around with placement of that little circle, and then I will mention now because I won't be able to later because my phone ran out. But I discovered that, or I remembered at least, that for some of the stamps that are straight lines, you can curve them, and there's a couple of sentiment stamps that I end up curving to go like around the circles, and then I do that with another one of the line stamps as well. Yeah, unfortunately my camera dies kind of midway through this process, but I will show photos at the end. But for the most part, I'm like kind of mostly done with the main elements of these 2 pages. I will go back and do a little bit more stamping to finish off these pages. But yeah, what am I doing here? Oh yes. So now I'm looking for little sentiment. Same thing like with the pocket cards. I'm looking for sentiments that would make sense in a faith planner. And again, found quite a few. I don't even have the faith sticker kit. I just found a lot of stuff that worked with the other elements. So far I've used Denim and Blush in my regular planner, in my faith journal here, and in my memory planner, and then what else? Oh, in my daily planner too. I've used it in lots of different places because it is such a versatile kit this month. And the colors were, and those florals, love those florals. And I surprised myself that I really enjoyed the sort of purpley blue, almost like a royal blue of the blues this month. Normally I'm not a big purple fan, but because the purple was like much more blue than anything else, I really liked those colors. So yeah, adding some of those sentiment stickers around the pages. And yeah, so here are the rest of the photos and how they looked. You can see I added a little bit more stamping, and yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!